We left our lives in the UK 2.5 years ago, and we have been travelling the world full time since then.
You up like this.
Like we have had spiders and snakes. First place in 2.5 years that I actually had a crash. Then go and live there and you're trying to do daily life. It's a completely different situation to when you're here on holiday. Good morning, happy Sunday everybody. It's Sunday here today in Lombok and it is beautiful sunny skies. Not that you can see it, my camera's picking it up as white. And today I thought that we could do a little talking video, come along and spend the day with us, and we're going to talk about why we chose to come to Lombok over Bali, why we've been here, and then also why we're leaving. So let's go sit out on a balcony because it is so lovely out here. Let me switch this around so you can see. Look. So lovely and sunny today. So originally when we were choosing to come to Indonesia, obviously the main place that people go to is Bali. Everybody told us to go to Bali. It's meant to be really great for children. There's lots of things to do there. There's lots of families. However, I'm always to go against the grain, and we actually decided to come and base ourselves in Lombok for 2 months. And I am really glad that we did it. There's pros and cons. I'm glad that we did it. There's parts that I'm not glad that we did it. And I'll go into both of those and explain both things. Just start this by saying, obviously, all of this is based on my experience here and my personal opinion. So as always with anywhere, I would say come and experience it yourself. Come and bring your own opinion. I might like things that you don't and you might like things that I don't. First off, obviously, is why we chose to come to Lombok. So if you've been following us, we actually came here from South Korea. We just spent 3 months in South Korea, which when you look on paper, like South Korea, Lombok, they are completely worlds apart. The number one reason that we came here was actually because we had a little group of friends that were here. So whilst we were in South Korea, we were really struggling with like connection to other families, to other children, to other people that we could just meet up with on a daily basis. We wanted to come somewhere where we could see people, be with people, and have that like social connection again, which is why we chose to come to Lombok. The second reason is that it had always been somewhere that we wanted to experience. Like people always say that Lombok is like Bali was 20 years ago, and without actually coming and experiencing that, you just don't know, do you? We had been to Bali about 10 years ago, so we haven't been since. We stopped there while we were traveling here, but obviously we didn't spend a lot of time there. I love living on an island. I love beaches, I love nature. So for me, Lombok just sounded like this happy medium. The idea of the chaos in Bali with all like the roads and the bikes. I'm not a bike rider, I am a car person, so I was going to really struggle with that, and Lombok kind of offered us that like in between where we can still get that island vibe. If you followed us for a while, you'll know that most of the time when we go to places we tend to stop for like 3 months, and here we've been for 2 months, and that is mainly because of the visa situation. So you can either come on a tourist visa, or we came in on a C1, which allows you 60 days on entry, and then after 60 days you can extend it for another 60 days, you can extend it for another 60 days, so you can do 6 months here in total. So we chose the C1 not knowing whether we were going to stay or whether we were going to leave. I would have probably liked to do 3 months here, but that's just not an option because you need to extend for another 2 months. It's quite expensive to extend your visas and a bit of faff. So we just said, you know what, cut our losses, 2 months, and we'll go and move on to our next destination. We choose to stay in places a bit longer is because when you go through places a bit faster, or if you're like on holiday, you can sometimes see things through like rose tinted glasses. I've done it before where I've been somewhere for like a week or 2 weeks and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing, I could live here. But when you actually then go and live there and you're trying to do daily life, it's a completely different situation to when you're here on holiday, you're rushing through. So you get to see like the day-to-day run-ins of things, how the kids adapt, what you're going to do every day. So yeah, 2 months here. Would have liked to do 3 months, but that's fine and we will just move on. And the other reasons that I was really excited to come here was the like nature element of it here. Like even I'm just sitting here and it is just mountains, and the beach is like 2 minutes that way. I can walk to the beach in about 10 minutes. The element of it, we've been up to Tete Batu, up in the mountains. There's a volcano here, there's waterfalls, there's beaches, there's just so much on offer here for children to get involved in. I've got like Mowgli children as well, so they are always up a tree, they're always doing something, they just love being in nature. For me, that was something that was really important. And when you then look at Lombok on paper, it ticked all of those. Obviously with everywhere that you go to, you've got like your pros and cons, and one of the biggest pro here I thought was the perfect setting for this video. So we're actually going to go now down to Ceylon Beach, and I'm going to take you to one of our favourite little beach club, if you can call it that. It's like a beach restaurant down there. So let's go down there and then I'll tell you everything that I do like about here and everything that I don't like about here. So let's go. I'm not taking a box to the beach.
Tomato, please.
Go on. You can bring it in the car.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it to lamp.
Okay.
The small one's the energetic one.
You got the key, Roy.
But I...
Little doggies.
Oh, I just saw them.
Hey, buddy. Good boy. You got Chewy. So cute. I'm actually really going to miss their dogs. If I could take them with me, I would. But we can't. Spider. Lovely. Oh, look, some chickens. This is our one mini mart in Ceylon Belanak. This is where we're going. It's called Atlantis. They've got loads of parking. It's really quiet today, actually. Yeah.
And then I read the top that said Ceylon Belanak.
Oh, cool. You've done the sign for our house. Atlantis and Ceylon Belanak. That looks cool. Lennon's getting sun creamed up. This is Atlantis. Got the normal pool here, and then over here they've got like a kids pool, kids play area, I don't know if you can see that. And then down there is the beach. The coffee here is also really good. This is a caramel latte, and then Roy's got a Atlantis Dolce. I've just come down to the beach now. I've just snuck off for a minute, so I thought we can go into some of the things that we're really loving about here, and then some of the things we're not so loving about here, just so that you can have like a clearer picture of what it's like living here. Let's start with what we're loving, because there are so many good points about Lombok. It's somewhere that's been really surprising in terms of like the actual life and the lifestyle here. So one of my main key amazing things about Lombok is actually where we live. So we live in a place called Ceylon Belanak, which is in the south of Lombok. There's loads of different places that you can stay in Lombok. We chose here because it was a little bit quieter, and you're about 30 minutes away from the main town, which is called Kuta. Kuta is really busy. There's lots of shops, restaurants, wellness places, all the classes, the schools, the supermarket, everything is over in Kuta. Whereas Ceylon Belanak is a little bit more rural, more countryside. In terms of the wildlife here is so good. We've got monkeys running around all the time. We've got lots of really lovely like puppies, like you saw. We've got them living at our house. Also not so lovely animals, like we have had spiders and snakes and things like that, but that all comes with living in the countryside. If I was to come back, I would definitely choose Ceylon Belanak, and I would recommend Ceylon Belanak over Kuta if you're just looking for something a little bit quieter from living in Ceylon Belanak, because you are that 30 minutes more out into the sticks. When you then drive another 15-30 minutes, you can just find yourself in the most amazing places. We found this beautiful beach, which I'll put the link to it of like the Google Maps link in the description, because it was honestly just so amazing. We were the only people there, and it's like, you know, blue water. I've never seen blue water like it before. It was so stunning. The places that we've been to, like the locals are just so lovely, so friendly. Everybody wants to talk to you, everybody wants to be your friend. Especially we found up in Teta Batu, that was like one of the places where everybody was just so amazing with our children. In the restaurants, they're so lovely. They always want to know your name, and they remember your name, and they're like greet you, and people remember you. Like we come here to Atlantis and they always remember us, and they're just so lovely. One of the main reasons that I really love it here is just that like slower pace of life. When you're traveling places like in the cities, we was obviously in South Korea before here, but I find also when you're in places like Thailand, certain places in Thailand, more fast-paced life, like you're doing more, there's more things to do, there's more things to see. Whereas here I find, because there is that little bit less, it's just a really slower pace of life. We just wake up in the morning and there's not like a major amount of things to do, and everything's just slower, and we might go down to the beach. Like today, for example, we're literally just going to sit down at the beach. We've just had some lunch and we'll just chill here for a bit. My son's gone to do a surf lesson in a minute, and then we'll just go home and chill. It's just been very nice, chill pace, and I think that's what you get with island life as well, like just that chilled feeling. Another big draw to here, and again, this is just my experience because of the time that we came here, is that we managed to put the children into a summer camp. So we were here over the summer holidays for Lombok, and I'm assuming it's most of Indonesia, but all the schools were on summer holidays, so we actually got to join on to a summer camp. And I've been homeschooling my children for 2.5 years. I have never gone like a day without them, which I know sounds crazy, but when you're traveling you don't get much time away from your children. So we had this opportunity to send the kids to this summer camp with their friends, and for us that was a really, really big thing. They absolutely loved it, and yeah, I think if it carried on they would have just kept going, but obviously that does come to an end, and that finished on Friday, just gone. So we're now back to normal homeschooling from tomorrow. But it was really, really lovely just to have that experience of being able to put them in somewhere. Being here over the summer was great, and if you're looking maybe for like next year to come and join the summer camp, then I would really recommend it. We went to the Mandalika Intercultural School, which is called MIS, and it is a school, but the summer camp was really great for us, and the kids, they did cooking, they went to the beach, they did water play, and they just did really, really fun activities, and they were outside all day playing football, playing sports, and they really, really loved it. Say another of the key points of why we came here, and especially why we decided to stay in Selong Belanak, was because of the surfing. So I'm going to show you down at the beach now. This is a really, really popular surfing beach, and maybe we can go into the not so good things about what we didn't enjoy here and why we will be moving on. So this is Selong Belanak Beach. This is where Lantis is. And you can come down here, you can see down there, that's where all the surfing schools are. This is where all the fishermen boats are, but we get him to come and meet us here. So we're just going to wait for our guy here. This is where they tend to bring the surfers because the waves are a bit smaller. They get a bit bigger up there, and it gets a lot chaotic up there. How nice this water is as well, it's so clear. Here comes our guy. Here he is.
More. Yeah, you want check position. You have the body on the board, and then position your feet close, don't open. It's okay, boy. Don't open.
Hot down here today. I've actually put a t-shirt on because I really don't want to burn, and there's no shade, so I've got a hat on, I've got my t-shirt on. I'm so hoping that the water don't come in that far. I think he's going to catch this wave. I absolutely love the fact that we could just come down here and do these things. So we do a 1 hour lesson. It costs us about £6, which is really great that you've got these things like on your doorstep. We could come and do this every day. He would do this every day if he had the option to. Whilst I'm singing Lombok's praises, I'm just going to tell you some of my little niggly things as to why personally I wouldn't live here long term. They're just things that on their own sound really silly. I said this to Roy before. On their own, if I say each of these things, they sound really silly, but then when I build them up, I just think to myself, like, is this somewhere I want to live? And I'm not 100% sure. I'll start off with my main reason, and obviously all of these, again, I keep saying they're my opinion and my experience here, but the burning and the rubbish here. And it's something that I actually didn't know about before coming here, and something that I didn't find many people talk about, because you go on Instagram, you just see like beautiful beaches and these amazing countrysides and mountains and everything, but then when you actually come down onto road level, there is so much rubbish. And I've literally watched people like just have like buckets of rubbish and then just go and dump it on the side of the road, and then they burn it. And whilst obviously it's people doing it, it's something that's really hard for them to overcome, because the government have actually made it so that they have to pay to get rid of their rubbish. The people here, they don't have the money to be paying to get rid of their rubbish, so the option is to burn it. But when I say burning rubbish, they're burning plastic, they burn everything under the sun is burnable. If it burns, they burn it, and you just find piles of rubbish. And where we live, we actually have like a land below us where they're constantly burning, and our windows and our house actually is very like an indoor outdoor type style, where we don't have glass panels in our windows, so it just like lets in the smell. So at night, because they burn a lot at night where we live, we actually have to shut all of our bedroom doors, because otherwise the smoke gets into our room and you're just breathing it in, and I just find you're constantly breathing in smoke. Silly things like we can't open our doors because it just stinks, and it stinks of plastic and burning rubbish. It's not just like burning paper or wood or anything like that, it's burning literal rubbish. And with that, I found that there's a lot more things like flies, because there's rubbish everywhere. If you drive down the street, there's just piles and piles of rubbish all on the side. So obviously they dump the rubbish, and then the wind comes or the cars come and it blows it down the road, and the dogs come and they pull it out. And yeah, so that's just probably the main reason that I find it really difficult. I feel like every day I'm waking up and smoking a 20 pack of fags. So down here in the south of Lombok Island, we have one supermarket, one petrol station, one of everything. So all the main things that you need, one supermarket. It's called Pepito's. It's really good. It does a lot of like most of the stuff that you need, but it's not a proper supermarket. It's more like, think of like Tesco Express, or like, I don't know what else we call them, Sainsbury's Local. It's that kind of size. It does everything you need, but would I like options, a few more options, because we like to cook quite a lot, we don't eat out so much. Yes, I would love more options, and to get more options I have to drive up to Mataram, which is an hour and a half away. So if you want the supermarket you have to drive, which boo-hoo, first world problems. But yeah, just I feel like they could do with something down here, like a bigger supermarket, or you know, if you've ever been to like Thailand, they have like Big C or Lotus, and they're like little mega supermarket centres where you've got like maybe a soft play in it and some shops, and then a big supermarket. Sometimes they have like a cinema in them. I think they would do really well with one of those down here. Anyway, so yeah, supermarket lack of, and also we're half an hour away from that, so we have to rely on little stalls, but they don't sell everything that you need them to. I know people say, oh, you should shop at the local markets, but they don't sell everything. They sell fruit and veg, yes, but we need more than just fruit and veg. And yeah, like I just mentioned as well, petrol station. We have one petrol station down here. It takes half an hour to get petrol, so every time you want to get petrol you have to queue, and it just takes forever, and there's always a queue out the road. And yeah, they need some more petrol stations down here. Are these problems going to get fixed? Probably, but me at the moment, it's just something that I really struggle with. The other things about Lombok is the roads. I've driven in pretty much every country that we've been to. I've driven in Bangkok, I've driven in like busy places. Here, the roads are a law to themselves. There's overtaking, there's speeding, there's everything. This is actually the first place in 2.5 years that I actually had a crash, because I was driving down the road and this girl, she was Australian, she decided to overtake a lorry whilst I was coming round a bend. So I was at fault zero, there was no fault in my part, I was just driving around the bend. She overtook a lorry into my side of the road and smashed into the front of me. Luckily everything was okay. It's just something to be aware of, that the roads are quite a lot here, and there's a lot of bikes. There's not so much like that traffic though, like what people say about in Bali where you get loads of traffic. Here it's not so bad, but it's just that everybody drives really fast and the roads are smashed up. There's no street lights, so if we go to Kuta at night and then we have to drive back to Selombelanak, we're driving back in the pitch black, and you could literally one wrong turn and you'll just drive off the side of the cliff. Something to bear in mind is that people think that coming to Southeast Asia is really cheap and affordable, and I would say of all my travels in Southeast Asia, and again just my own experience, of all my travels, this has been the most expensive place that I've been to in terms of everything. And I actually want to do a full video breakdown of like how much it costs us for everything: accommodation, car, eating out, activities, blah blah blah. But in terms of the overall cost month on month of how much it is to live here, it's expensive. And we've really struggled with it. And I know it's because we're socialising a lot more, and we didn't socialise as much in other places, and obviously that plays a big part of it, which I know is, again, like my experience and my situation that I'm in. But I just wasn't expecting things to be so expensive here. Accommodation's really hard to find because there's a lot more people than there are accommodation. So yeah, I will do a full cost breakdown. I'm planning to do that for next week's video, because I'm going to show you around our villa, you know, like how much it's been costing us penny for penny. I'll break down my full bank statements for you, so stay tuned for next week's video for that. But yeah, that is another thing. I just feel like for the money that we're paying to live here, I could probably go to other places, live a lot cheaper, have a lot more options and things like that. I do think to myself that I say all of these negative points, or just points of our time here that I've maybe not enjoyed so much, and then I'm just sat here when I'm recording this and I'm watching my 7-year-old surf, and it is just the most beautiful view. Like, look at this sea, and there's a little hidden beach over here, and I'm just sitting on the most beautiful beach thinking to myself, what can you complain about? Sorry, that was a bit of a jump scare. So yeah, that is kind of my summary of Lombok. And what is next for us? Well, we are off to Malaysia. We've got 3 more days here, and then we're flying from here to Kuala Lumpur, which also cost us an absolute fortune. So I would recommend, if you're coming to Lombok, have a look at the flights out as well, because so expensive. But we're flying direct from Lombok to Kuala Lumpur, which is about 3 hours, and then we have been to Kuala Lumpur before. We absolutely love it there, and then we're heading to somewhere that's brand new for all of us. So it's one of those places that's always been on our radar of like potential of where we might want to go and scope out. How do people live there? What's the situation? What's the deal with costs and everything, kind of what I've just explained now. But that is Penang. If you've ever been to Penang, please give me your recommendations, because I've never been before. I haven't even looked into it, but I'm really excited to go. And if you are new to my channel, probably should have introduced myself at the beginning, but my name's Lauren. I've got my husband Roy, and I've got 2 children who are aged 7 and 4. We left our lives in the UK 2.5 years ago, and we have been traveling the world full time since then. We hop around, we're looking for a new place to live, and we're just sussing out all the different countries so that you don't have to do it, and I can give you the lowdown on what it is like living in those countries and how much it costs. So we've been to quite a few places. We've been to Thailand, Vietnam, Japan, South Korea. Now we've been to Lombok, and we are heading to Malaysia. So do follow along if you're interested in that. And as always, I'm on all the other social media platforms, which I post on daily. And if you've got any questions, message me, email me, drop them in the comments, let me know. And please do subscribe so that I know that you love these videos. Bye.